is our referee here tonight. It's been an emotional week for the Warrington club off the field, Terry. How is that going to work out on the pitch now?
Well, I think what everyone's after is what reaction they're going to show on the field, because after losing 8 of the last 9 games, I think they probably knew what was going to come, and when they got that defeat on Sunday against Wakefield, it all happened. That man's in charge, and I agree with Barry. What he will give to this side is he'll give them a sense of ownership. He's a proud, adopted Warringtonian, and I think he'll get his players right up for this job. But I will say, I'll caveat that and say, Catalan will have prepared for the best Warrington side that we saw in the opening 8 rounds.
And Catalan themselves have had upheaval right to match day, in actual fact, with Michael McAlorum taken ill today and unable to play, which is a big loss for them. Alrix da Costa then promoted to the starting lineup for Steve McNamara, and Bastien Shimon coming into the 17 on the bench, the 23-year-old who's only making his 3rd appearance of the season. Meanwhile, Warrington, after a turbulent week, have got their hands on the ball, and that'll be a relief, I should imagine, to the players to actually get out there and start playing the game instead of all the talk about it. Tompkins underneath it and getting the customary reception from the Warrington faithful. Catalan in their vivid red strip with a flash of gold. And here is Tom Johnston, the danger man for them. Super League's top try scorer.
The start of the game, Dragons doing what they've been successful this year, containing their opponents in their own half of the field. No team are harder at gaining ground than when you play against the Dragons, and you can see as a result it's giving them possession inside their opponent's half with the very first set.
It's ironic though, isn't it, Terry, that Catalan come here with this reputation as a fearsome forward orientated side, if you like, as Busquets takes the ball, and they're missing some big people, and ironically they're up against some big people who used to play for Catalan, like Dudson and Cassiano.
Yeah, they're probably the bigger side, and you could throw into that Paul Vaughan, although he never played for them. But they're a big side, Warrington. I don't think a lot of people give them credit. But this is what Catalan like to do. They like to manhandle you. This is a great way to start. Like I said, they were anticipating Warrington firing out the blocks, and they knew they had to be strong, they had to be good. On the back of a decent kick, you've got a challenge, and that's exactly what they do. Look at that, it's good defence to keep him up, throw him over the sideline. I think it was Ikuvalu, along with Tom Johnson, who do the damage.
I don't know at what point that tackle is completed. The referee didn't think it was, but I think when a Warrington player starts to lend weight, the referee's supposed to shout held. Anyway, the Dragons get first chance here. He's almost on the ground here. George Williams is clearly lending weight.
He's trying to drag him back in. That's fair game for me. He's got to beat him. He's got to do better to get to the ground.
Catalan have possession though, and early in this contest an opportunity for them as Paul Seguir drives the ball towards that Warrington try line. Warrington have beaten Catalan twice already this season. Here is Julien Busquets starting tonight in the absence of Mike McMeekin. Used to seeing Busquets coming off the bench. He has been formidable this season. Back in field they come with Matt Whitley. Takes the pass from Tyrone May to Costa there. Fires the pass out to May once more. On it comes to Pearce. Pearce to Tompkins. Tompkins and Davis. Davis puts the brakes on, puts her foot in touch, and it's Warrington's turn to celebrate.
Well, if Warrington are going to win this game, defence has got to have improved from last week and probably for the season as a whole. Catalan Dragons are the only team in Super League to score over 500 points at this point in the season, and they look like they were going to add to that until Warrington's defence showed enough determination here and plays in the right position there to make sure that there was no early score for the Dragons.
So Warrington survived. Tom Davis close. And a man that they've got to keep an eye on. He's in form, got 4 tries in the last 4 games. Tom Davis, former Wigan winger who's been a big hit. They know how to pick the wingers at Catalan, don't they? Johnston and Davis. They've got Fuad Yaha, can't get in the side.
Well, they've been outstanding on the edges, haven't they? They're right across the board, and they do like to play. I think what these Warrington fans that have turned up to watch this game, they want to see a bit of effort and energy from the side. Even that tackle from Wrench is what they lacked in recent weeks.
Well, they might not be lacking something now, because Thewlis cuts back in field and does well to work a bit of space. Warrington signalling their intentions. There is Matty Nicholson, and that's the first penalty of the game. Romain Navarrete is the target of Warrington's anger.
Well, you don't want to see any dangerous tackles in the game, and players getting upended and landing in dangerous position. And you can see when Matty Nicholson, he gets tackled, he gets put in that dangerous position, he just comes down, lands awkwardly.
It's Ben Garcia, isn't it, who gets up underneath the ball. That's been his tackling start of his career, as we've seen Navarrete in shot there. I don't think he was the one of the guilty party. The first lower player there, driving there, that is tipped. We may see a yellow card here, or has he already given the decision? I beg your pardon. Is he waiting?
Early test for Liam Moore.
We've had a yellow and a red when these two sides have played twice before this season in the Cup and League. Are we about to see a third card?
Ben Thaler is the video ref at the Halliwell Jones Stadium this evening.
I would think that would warrant a yellow card.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we wait for the disciplinary committee to make a decision.
I appreciate the stream in their tackle and his contribution.
Yeah.
He lands on his back. You've just got to be very careful when you lift him above the horizontal. It's a penalty. Okay.
He's a lucky man, isn't he? Do you know what, like, if Matty Nicholson stays on the ground for 10 or 15 seconds, that I'm no doubt that that's a sin bin. Because he jumps back up, he gets away with it, Ben Garcia, but it's the damage that's done over the top, the men who control it.
Well, can they capitalise on the penalty? Warrington.
Back now, back.
Garcia, the Catalan captain, lucky in some eyes to be still on the field. Here is Paul Vaughan.
Move! All the way back, stand back.
Fired up for this one after a turbulent week for the club. Drinkwater wants a Catalan. Back via George Williams comes Ben Curry. Curry just inside Catalans, 10 metres. Danny Walker. Dodson driving it back towards the posts. Shrugs off the challenge. Walker fancies it himself, and Walker is held up just in the nick of time and driven back. They got there in the end, Catalan. He almost found a way through, Danny Walker. Drinkwater quickly there. Here's Williams, stabs a little kick in, and the ball is scooped up, and they will counter now. Catalan will counter with Ikevalu. The ball is batted out by Connor Wrench. And what a recovery that is, and Connor Wrench has had some start to this game. He was bundled into touch early on. Then he made the tackle on Tom Davis. Now he's come out and rescued the situation when Ikevalu threatened to break away.
Well, maybe he's saved 12 points for the side, hasn't he? The way he started, and he went for that. It didn't just come off. Like, luckily, here we go.
Now the break from Matty Nicholson. Nicholson has got Tompkins to beat, and Tompkins does his job. Sam Tompkins with the tackle. And this is Warrington's chance now. Williams with the step, trying to capitalise on a fractured Catalan defence, but the Dragons hold firm. It's about 10 metres away now. Drinkwater, ball over the top to Thewlis. It went forward, the referee calls them back. Phew, catch your breath.
Well, wow, what a start there, end to end, and really the Catalan Dragons have decided they're going to make sure they maintain their standards of performance and see if Warrington can live with them. Here's the knockout by Connor Wrench, very clever hit on the ball. You see players do that when defending near their own try line. They don't try and stop the man, just try and knock the ball. But Nicholson makes a break, takes Tompkins on the outside. Excellent fullback tackle there, brings him down in the field of play. And we get a scrum down again here now. The forward pass. Dufty had created a try for Thewlis earlier this season with a left-to-right pass, but that one, on that occasion, went forward, and the Dragons survive.
We've had a lively start at Castleford as well, where the Giants are 4-0 up. They haven't given up on a top six place. Players catching their breath.
Warrington have got another 72 minutes to go, but anyone who watched that game last week against Wakefield, the side looked like they lacked confidence. They weren't playing together. They were slow when they were moving the ball. Like, you look at them early on in the year, they were quick, they were clinical, they were exciting. I think this is more of the same what we saw at the start of the year.
The crowd applauding the tackle on Tom Davis.
Even that line speed, aggressive, get off the line, don't sit back.
Okay, now.
Jordan Crowther putting himself about for Warrington on his debut. Here is Busquets now for the Catalan Dragons, coming here having won 9 of the last 10 in Super League. Steve McNamara's side, but missing some important figures tonight. None more so than Mike McMeekin, the Max, in fact, McAlorum and McMeekin. Pearce, a spiralling kick, targeting Dufty, and Dufty claims that one on his own 20-metre line.
You could even throw into that Manu Mount, Desiree, Takiaho. So they're missing some big men up front, aren't they?
2. Move, mix, Matt back.
Danny Walker.
You need someone pushing up with him, then you could see he got out from dummy half.
Here's Ratchford, the season campaigner, ever present this season. Stefan Ratchford in all 22 games. It's Dodson now, trying to make a dent in that Catalan defence. 5th tackle, just inside the Catalan 40. They are. Dodson's slow to get to his feet. Williams just looking for a bit of space, where Tom Davis waits for the ball and claims it emphatically, then gets away from the first challenge. And Matty Nicholson just did enough.
Well, that wasn't good enough, was it? The kick wasn't good enough to chase. None of the attempted tackles. That's sort of inviting trouble against the top team in the competition at present.
Move! Hold Ben, hold George. Goal, 2.
Tom Johnston playing the ball. Wigan 6-0 up against Challenge Cup finalists Hull Kingston Rovers.
Help! Release him now!
We'll see the other Challenge Cup finalist on Sunday. Lee Leopards against Leeds. There's something wrong there. Lee are 2nd in the table, Leeds 8th in the table. Should be the other way round by most people's thinking. But Lee having, of course, a spectacular season. Leeds against Lee, Sunday 2:30 Sky Sports action. There you go. Pearce again, pinpoint kick. Oh, Dufty trying to make it safe.
It just feels like someone's just let all the air out of the balloon.
Well,
then
you can see what he's trying to do with his foot. If he gets it into the in-goal area, Warrington tap the ball on the 20-metre line and they're given 7 tackles. And maybe his thoughts are on having his feet in goal rather than a clean catch of the ball. You saw one of the Warrington fans put his head in his hands.
Well,
he felt the pain as well.
Says it all, doesn't it? The reaction from the fans. And Matt Dufty as well. Look, he's an opportunity. He's a run threat whenever he gets the ball. And I agree with you, Phil, what he was trying to do. Unfortunately, you've got to nail that play. That's your job at the back. You've got to make sure you diffuse all those situations.
Drinkwater, good distance on the kick up to the halfway line where it's collected. Busquets driving that ball back in. Here is Garcia leading from the front as ever.
George, find me now. Jordy!
Paul Vaughan playing pretty physical, isn't he? Early on in this game.
Navarrete, good charge from him, and Catalan are up to that Warrington 10 with some ease. And threatening here now, Pearce. May's pass. Tompkins steps away and then loses his footing after it seemed to have opened up for him. Kieran, May. Tyrone May drifting across the field, then fires the pass to Ikavalu. That's the 5th tackle. Ratchford has stayed down after that tackle.
Time off tackle 5.
Well, he comes up with a legs tackle, doesn't he? George Williams comes over the top and hits Ikavalu.
Oh, I think he's got a boot in the face, Ratchford. There's blood flowing.
It'd be a big loss, wouldn't he, if he had to leave the field.
Would they put Ben Curry out to centre? He's going to have to go off, isn't he, for some period of time. They'll bring a player on. Curry will go to centre and defend out wide on this left-hand side.
Well, he's a good old player, isn't he, Stefan Ratchford? He's been great this year. And a team that's been doing it tough and not missed a game all year.
He's making his
Well,
440th career appearance tonight.
He's the
Stephen
goal
Ratchford.
kicker as well. I know we're looking at him going ground here. Perhaps friendly fire off one of his teammates on the top of the head, I thought, was it?
Yeah, it's the elbow, isn't it, from George Williams?
But he's been successful. 83% goal kicking success this season. One of the best, the second best of the main kickers in the Super League competition. Be a dilemma now for Gary Chambers to decide who takes over the goal kicking should they need to attempt a conversion.
Peter Matautia has kicked goals. George Williams is capable. Josh Drinkwater can, as Catalan know. Joe Philbin coming on.
So Ben Curry will go to the centre spot.
Play will resume with Catalan in possession, about 5 metres away
Okay, tackle 5. Okay, time back
from
on.
that Warrington line.
5.
On the last, Pearce with the kick. Tompkins challenging, Kieran challenging, and Adam Kieran, has he got the first try of the game?
Time off.
Referee Liam Moore has called time off. He reckons it's a try, but the verdict belongs to video ref Ben Thaler.
Live call of a try. If we can just go to the onside offside, please, and pause it on the foot. Pause it there. He'll be behind the ball as he's on the line. The ball's in front of the plate. I can't get those players out wide. So do we have another angle on those, please? Maybe from behind the post or something. Can't see anything on that one. That doesn't help me out with the players to this left side. Right, we pause it there. Right, the live call on field is a try on the onside offside. They've been called onside, so we can just play it on from here then, see what happens. We've got no evidence to suggest that they're not, and I've checked all the available angles on that. They're going up the ball, that's a clear challenge. Both challenging for the ball. Fine, we're going on from here. Everybody's looking towards the ball. They're all looking up towards the ball, looking towards the ball. Fine, that is no problem with that whatsoever. He picks the ball cleanly. Let's go through to the grounding then, please. That's a fine, clear challenge, fine challenge. It's in his hands. Still in his hands. Keep going, keep going. Keep going, thank you. I've now made my decision.
And Thaler having a good look at that, confirming, I think, Liam Moore's verdict that Catalan have got the first points of the night, and they've come from centre. Adam Kieran, his 9th try of the season. It's been a one-season wonder, really, for Catalan. He's off to Wigan in 2024. But he's scored tries and he's kicked goals, and he'll attempt to convert this.
Well, he makes a costly error at the back. Matt Duffy leads to the field position, and this is poor on the 5th play. The kick's away. Sam Tompkins goes up for it. It's a genuine challenge with him and Peter Matautia, who gets it all wrong. You look when Matautia goes for that. Yeah, there's a bit of pressure from Sam Tompkins. He's got to do better, though. And just a couple of problems that, like I say, last tackle. You've got to make sure you get that right. That was off a slow play, the ball.
I tell you, Sam Tompkins might not have the speed that he had when he was younger, but his competitive instinct is probably better than ever. I mean, there were about 6 Catalan players all in the area who knew that Mitchell Pearce was going to kick the ball in that direction. And he was the only one who went to contest and compete for the ball. It bounced up luckily for this goal kicker, and he's going to add 2 more as he slots this over and takes it to 6.
Yeah, Kieran on target again. He has been a prolific goal kicker. That's his 44th of the season. And Catalan doing what they've been threatening to do in the opening 14 minutes of this game.
You don't need to do extraordinary things to win a game. You just need to do the simple things well. And the simple thing is competing for the ball, make it hard for the opponents to catch it near to their own try line, and hope that one of your colleagues bounces up, picks the ball up and puts it over. Steve McNamara, 6-0 up.
Upheaval for Warrington continues. Ratchford off the field. Let's go down to the sidelines. John Wells.
Good evening, Bill. It was going to be an early change. Joe Philbin was always going to come on. I'm thinking it was Gil Dudson who was going to be rested and rotated, and then Obviously, the incident has happened there with Steph Ratchford, and they've changed effectively. They've got a free interchange out of that one, as if you can see it that way. In other news, Tom Johnston has just changed his boots, Bill. He's changed from his semi-fast to his super-fast in between that try being scored, and given he's already top of the try-scoring charts, that could spell further bad news for Warrington.
We'll see. Thanks, John. Here's Matt Whitley. Catalan will be going through a bit of upheaval after this season. A number of players leaving. Johnston, they'll be hoping stays because he has been such a success. Now then, Ikuvalu likewise has done well since joining the club. For the Roosters and Cronulla man. 3 tackles gone. Here's Paul Seguier. Missed only 1 game all season, the French international. Regular pick, as is this guy, Ben Garcia. Ever present he's been. The France international captain. Led the side on this pitch in defeat in April. Pearce fires that kick away. Oh, wrench. Went backwards, said the referee. Got away with that one.
Well, he wasn't taking any chances, but if that ball would have hit the ground, I'm sure it had enough speed on it to go over the dead ball line, but that's what happens when your confidence is low.
Again, we've only been playing for 15 minutes.
Look at that.
But look at the quality of the kicks that Catalan have put in. One that Dufty dropped behind the line. That one then difficult for Wrench. On a knock-on, close to own try line. Self-inflicted pain here now for the Warrington team. Another mistake.
And that's what I'm saying, Bill. Like when things aren't going for you, you do make errors. Look, Foulis trying to play the ball quickly. Touches, I think is it Julian Bousquet's knee. Like if that ball hits the deck when it's kicked from Mitchell Pearce, I think it has enough power on it, enough pace on it to go over the dead ball line.
Huddersfield 10-0 up against the Castleford Tigers at the Menderhose Jungle.
Hey, preventing the try here is a big play here now for Warrington. They've got 3 versus 4 attackers on the left-hand side, far side of the field from here.
Well, they were punished the last mistake they made.
He's offside. Foulis is a mile offside.
Catalan going to inflict more problems here as Tompkins tries to get away from Matautia, but they quickly close him down. And Liam Moore came to the same opinion as Phil Clark.
It's almost, though, no penalty. They'd rather concede a penalty out there on the touch than to try and defend this here with their opponents at full pace and Tom Johnson flying with his fast tyres on.
What's Sam Tompkins trying to scheme there? He's having a word with the referee, Kieran.
Was he asking for another scrum? If a forward breaks earlier, then they can repack the scrum, but not if it's a back.
Not forthcoming. Whitley.
Move now! In the line.
His 5th season with the club, 5th and final season with the club, Matt Whitley. Da Costa. Bousquet takes him on himself.
2. Move! In the line.
Dudson was down low on his former teammate. Here's Da Costa. Da Costa. Pearce. Tompkins. And Tom Davis will get the try this time. And simple as you like for the Catalan Dragons, the ball moved at pace to the right. Monsieur Gouache is pretty pleased with that. The Catalan chairman and owner. And Tom Davis gets his 11th try of the season, handed to him on a plate, ultimately by Warrington again.
Well, make mistakes near your own try line and you are invited trouble against the top of the table. Josh Thulis drops the ball. It's a clear mistake from him, and the Warrington team here now has to defend the line. You know, when you look at teams that get to the grand final, they very often score tries where they make it look easy. You know, it would be a try if it was touch rugby. They don't even get a hand on him. And that's how easy Catalan have made that 4-pointer look, with Tom Davis sliding in completely unopposed. Great play by Mitchell Pearce, running to the line and then passing sideways. Excellent timing of that attacking player, and fully appreciated by the club owner.
It's Tom Davis's 5th try in the last 5 games. In actual fact, he got 2 doubles. He got 2 against the Giants and 2 against Hull, the former Wigan man. Hasn't scored in the last 2 games. Well, he's picked one up here as Catalan extend their lead, coming up to the end of the first quarter of the game. 10-0 up they are, and the atmosphere is, as Terry said, it's deflated a bit.
I think the fans expected so much, didn't they? Stuart Pearce here, big Warrington fan, turned up showing his support for them.
That's it. So Adam Kieran. Difficult one from the sideline. Pushes it across the face of the posts, but Catalan will be satisfied with the opening quarter of the game. 10-0 they're leading.
Well, certainly Warrington won the completion rate at 50%. Asked that to show in, and it was just far too easy, wasn't it? Good vision, good execution from this Catalan side, and what a player he's been in the 4 seasons. Was that 47th try in 75 games? What a return. A lot of talk about the other wing partner, Tom Johnson, but Tom Davis is just as good.
Third meeting between these two sides this season, and Warrington have won the previous 2 in the cup and in Perpignan, but that was in the golden days of the season for them, wasn't it?
And
it's
in the
a
dying
distant
minutes,
memory.
Well, it was a try, wasn't it? In the less than 2 minutes to go when they won in the cup.
And that was a Catalan mistake that's handed, I think, Matty Ashton the decisive try.
Free. Move, Peter! All boys hold.
The Catalan seem to have learnt from their errors. They are the form side in the competition at the moment, sitting top of the table.
You're right, Bill. The last 2 performances against St Helens and Salford, they looked outstanding, both in defence and attack. They looked like a quick team, which I guess when they last got to the grand final, I don't think they had as much pace in the side. That's not just Tom Johnston. They look quicker. You need to have speed if you want to win a grand final, both in attack and defence.
Good pressure on Pearce there, just hurried into the kick.
He'll have that pressure up, won't he? Mitchell Prayer, he can certainly handle that pressure. I'm sure they would have talked about this game and the next 2 as well. Currently 4 points ahead of the chasing pack. They win tonight, then they've got Lee, then they've got Wigan. They win the next 3 games, and I think they could be league leaders, winners.
Well, the borough of Wigan might have something to say about that, with Wigan and Lee the next 2.
That's what I'm saying. They need to be them 2 games, this game and the next 2. And I think the league leaders, winners for me.
Yeah, they have got a tough run in, because I think 5 of their last 7 games are away from home, as Tompkins retrieves that kick and takes a bang in the process. Oof, here's Davis.
Gil Goodson knew exactly what sort of run Davis was going to come up with. Then stopped him dead in his tracks.
Tompkins trying to burrow his way upfield. Good defence so far from Warrington to try and limit Catalan's progress. Here's Johnston trying to weave his way through. Dudson having none of it. Danny Walker there as well. Pearce. 4 tackles gone. And Warrington have done a good job restricting Catalan's progress. And Pearce is going to put the kick in. This time he's got time to get the ball away, almost over the head of Connor Wrench, who backpedals.
There's a number of sets in this game that Warrington have been, when they've been defending, they've been restricting Catalan to 26, 27 metres. But then making the mistakes is what's been really costly for them. If they can clean that up, be ultra disciplined with the ball, I'm sure there's more than 10 points in Warrington.
Ben Curry running strongly onto that ball. 3 tackles gone just inside their own half. The crowd appealing for a penalty from referee Liam Moore. Here is Jordan Crowther, does well to offload that one to Dufty, and Dufty, who can be dangerous if there's a fractured defence in front of him. Stopped by Bousquet. Cassiano is out there against his former teammates.
What a brilliant tackle by Whitley to bring him down with his first touch.
Drinkwater. Williams on the last day are running it. Nicholson over the top. Thewlis puts the brakes on. They're saying it's 6 to go. It is, says the referee. It was touched by a Catalan hand. This is a golden opportunity. Williams. Here's Drinkwater. He's Dufty now. Dufty, oh, Dufty puts the ball down as he tried to burst through, and Ikevalu will pick it up, and you can guarantee he'll hold on to the ball this time. Ikevalu, Curry is chasing him, bounces off him, and he is still going. Where's my support, he says. They went that way. They're all over on the other side of the pitch. Well, what a turnaround this is. What an opportunity this is for Tyrone May. Warrington eventually getting back into defensive shape, and Catalan haven't been able to capitalise.
Well, that's it, they're just clinging on at the minute, aren't they, Warrington? An opportunity at the other end to score, they make a mistake, and all of a sudden they're under pressure 10 metres from the line.
And they've lost the ball.
That's a penalty, the ball's stripped.
He's had a terrible 60 seconds there, Matt Dufty, hasn't he? He's blown the chance for Warrington to perhaps score at the other end of the field. Lost the ball, didn't get the ball away quick enough. He's been penalised here now for stripping it.
I don't think he's getting a talking to for protesting.
I think the Dragons will take 2 points here and take a rest.
Simply ripped it out of Gudemon's grasp there.
And get it right, don't give cheap penalties away. Look, you made the mistake. I think Warrington, when Dufty makes the mistake, look, he knows he's replaying the last minute, his involvement. He makes a mistake with a set restart. They had 6 more or 5 more goals at Catalans' line. All of a sudden, Ikevalu breaks down the field, and they're under some pressure. As soon as he gets this ball, Ikevalu, he does an amazing job. And just look at the Warrington players trudging back, trying to get back. Those 3 players are trying everything. Ben Curry can't effect the tackle. Ikevalu then surrounded by Warrington players. But they were just clinging on at that moment.
Should he have given the ball to Tom Davis there? Well, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. He didn't.
Matt Dufty should have given the ball to Jordan Crowther. That would have that was the easier option at the start of it all.
And Adam Kieran, meanwhile, lining up. Pretty straightforward kick to extend the Catalan Dragons' lead. And Warrington being their own worst enemies in this first half so far. Kieran composing himself. Makes the most of that opportunity. 12-0, the Catalan Dragons lead. Let's go down to the sideline. John Wells.
Yeah, just an update on Steph Ratchford. He's passed his HIA. He only just made the window because you can see the bandage on his head. He's covering up some 15 to 20 stitches, so the doctor said. Tough guy.
Oof, that was how.
Yeah, it was a tough one, wasn't it? George Williams just throwing himself into that tackle. Unfortunately, hits his teammate's head.
Now then, a reception from the Warrington crowd for Thomas McKaylee, returning to the Warrington folds, having left the club earlier in the season on compassionate grounds, returned to Australia, hooked up with the Gold Coast Titans, played 12 minutes against the Dolphins, and now has come back to Warrington, and is a big boost and adds even more bulk.
Well, the Warrington fans, you can, as soon as you come onto the pitch, they seem to lift in. He played in the opening 7 rounds this year, was really good, effective, didn't lose. I think that the Warrington fans are hoping he brings that good luck with him here tonight.
Well, whether he's quite up to speed is another matter. He stepped off the plane on Wednesday afternoon, had a groggy training session with the team yesterday by all accounts. So it's asking a lot, even if you've been flown in the pointy end.
But I'm sure the emotion will get him through this game.
Dufty. There's an ironic cheer from down below us as Matt Dufty makes that one safe. Warrington appealing for the penalty.
They're looking to shift the ball as far away from the ruck as they can around the play of the ball.
I'd be looking to ask Thomas McKaylee to run with the ball. He's walked back here now. He's going to maybe get involved in this next set. But it's just onto the field here. He's waited for almost half an hour. Get involved.
Well, he can't get involved there because the ball's gone to the other side, and it's with Ben Curry. There's the shot on Thulis.
That was a big shot, wasn't it,
Jack
from DaCosta?
DaCosta getting his chance from Mickey Mack. Michael McAlorum unwell, back at the team hotel. Williams puts the kick in, and Tompkins has time to trap that one.
Well, a nice kick, wasn't it? And now let's just see what they can do defensively. Want to get into Catalan here. Make sure they don't give a penalty away.
Here's Davis, tucks the ball under his wing.
So he should be missing tackles like that. Again, you can see Davis has played it quickly. They get over the advantage line pretty quick here on tackle 2.
Oh, and then the break sees Whitley out on that left edge.
It's good, isn't it? Interchangeable positions, wing, centre, second row, all happy to play in any of those 3 spots.
Well, there's the man who maybe should have been where Whitley was when that pass went out to the left edge. Tom Johnston, here he is in the middle of the field. Da Costa, here is Pearce now, a little burst of pace from Pearce. Oh, lovely hands, finds Icavalu. Icavalu finds Davis. Davis back on the inside, and Pearce will get another Catalan Dragons try. That was great work from the Catalan Dragons, and no doubt about that one. Icavalu at the thick of it again. And Mitchell Pearson is just creaking a bit as he celebrates that try. But he gets only his 2nd of the season, and some dejected Warrington faces.
Yeah, dejected, glum faces, the atmosphere. Like I said, it just seems to have gone, doesn't it? Missed far too many tackles, 51 missed tackles last week. They've got to make sure they're better, closing players down. And then when you see the interplay between Icavalu and Johnston, then Mitchell Pearce just tracking up the middle of the field. But this is far too easy. Look, you can't sit back. You've got, I think it was Ben Curry and Cassiano going for the same man. Communication is key in defence. When things have been going against you, you've got to talk. You can't just sit back hoping that one of your teammates, either side of you, is going to do your work for you. The dejection from the players, look, you want to see people talking. Gary Chambers, I'm sure that his job has come in to steady the ship, put smiles on the players' faces. The players have then got to respond. The coach can't do anything. I've said this before when I've watched Warrington over the years. When you look at the team sheet, you look at the roster, you think, wow, that's a side. They can perform. They've shown that they can perform at the start of the year. To be 16 points down after 30 minutes when your coach has been let go on Sunday night isn't good enough.
It's going to be 18 in a few minutes, in a few seconds, you fancy, with Adam Kieran lining up another kick at goal. Fabulous ball from Sam Tompkins in the middle of all that. Just the speed of it. Kieran makes no mistake. Warrington 0, Catalan 18, the scoreline.
Well, look, they look like they've got the 2 cleverest players in the competition in Pearce and Tompkins at the moment. And the rest of the team are doing what they need to do to set them up into that position. Pearce can obviously finish it off as well there with a nice score there at that point here, taking them to an 18-point lead. But I think you have to say, players like Seguier, Navarrete and the rest of them, they've worked very hard. They've had, I'd say, determined defence. It's probably the definition of what they've had so far this season, and then obviously a bit of quality in the class in attack as Chan charges back.
There's Tiaki Chan, another of the players who'll be leaving the club at the end of the season. He's off to Wigan, but there will still be another Chan to come through the ranks at Catalan, another Alex Jr., who will remain in Perpignan, much to his mum's relief, with the rest of them going all over the place. Here's Da Costa. Here is Seguier on the halfway line, and Catalan, they are making ground that's so easily.
Well, far too easy. Conceded 63 metres on the back of conceding a try.
And then Pearce has time to again pick his spot, which is Josh Thewlis's corner.
Penalty here now for the Dragons. Escorting is a word they use, isn't it? It's basically, in my language, it's obstruction, isn't it, of the defenders coming through to contest this ball. If you look at the guys in the white shirts, is it Peter Matautio there on the right-hand side? Just charges Tom Johnston off the ball. Shoulder charge.
Surely that's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, isn't it?
I think he's unlucky, Matautio. He's getting back, isn't he? He's trying to escort those defenders.
Help! Release him now!
But it's given Catalan Dragons another golden opportunity here. And Tyrone May lobs the ball over the top. Johnston has to go back to gather that up. 0 tackle, says the referee. There was a Warrington hand in there. So the pressure is all on Warrington now. Everything seems to be going Catalan's way. The bounce of the ball, Tompkins short ball, and this time it's Catalan's turn to put it down. Seguier couldn't take the pass.
Yeah, well, he's hard to handle, isn't he? And George Williams it is that just does enough just to put him off. And they made a mistake, but again, you just look where they're turning the ball over here. Good solid contact from George Williams.
Coach not impressed, because they've hardly put a foot wrong.
No, they'll be impressed with the scoreboard, though. Like you said before, Bill, you look at the forwards that they're missing. Some big names. Some of the younger players given an opportunity here against a Warrington side that we're expecting a lot of in this game.
Yeah, I agree, Terry. I think Mike McMeek has been fantastic this season. He's ended a 19-game sequence of performances which have been excellent. I'd say he'd be a strong contender for the dream team. Plays for 80 minutes at times. He's almost reinventing the way that forwards have, who very often just get 40 minutes or less.
Cassiano, that's more like it from Warrington as they get the quick play the ball. Here is Ratchford.
And that's right, Bill. Play off a bit of power, generate some good go forward.
Williams hasn't really had an opportunity to assert his authority on this game yet. Cassiano is nursing a bang on the wrist by the look of things. Drinkwater outside his own 40. Deep kick though, and Johnston comes round to gather it up. Darryl Clark brings him down.
Well, this is where Warrington, they have to be physical. They've got to be dominant in those collisions. Get numbers in, take them to ground again. Tom Johnson doing a decent job to find the ground, attracting 3 players. Unfortunately, doesn't play it quickly. But you just look at the technique of the wingers for Catalans. They get down and go into those contacts.
Ikevalu playing the ball. Here is Chan. Still legs driving, almost up to the halfway line. 4 tackles gone. Offload from Gudemond and finds Tompkins. Tompkins shows the ball, then goes across the field. The pass not a good one, goes behind Kieran, so Tom Johnston cuts back in field. Eventually is tackled about 35 metres out or so, and Pearce again stationed, ready to put the kick in. Again has time to pick his spot, which is Connor Wrench, and Wrench, I think, was tackled in the air. He was. It was Davis protesting his innocence.
He makes contact, doesn't he, when he's off the floor? That's a penalty. Tom Davis can't argue with that.
35 minutes gone. It's been a good 35 minutes for the Catalan Dragons. That's the way it looks up here. I wonder what Thomas Bosch, Catalan Dragons assistant coach, thinks. Thomas, what's the view down there?
Yeah, it's pretty good first half. 18-0 here, but tough one. We score some good tries, but it's always hard, and we need to stay focused because we know the quality of this team. So 43 minutes to go, so we need to stick to our plan.
Thomas, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here is Sam Cassiano, short ball from Cassiano. Finds Thomas McKaylee. Drinkwater rides the first challenge and taking him on. Josh Drinkwater. And then Tompkins is all over him.
No fullback.
Here is McKaylee. Throwing himself at the Catalan defenders. Da Costa and Chan. Big opportunity this. Big opportunity for Ben Curry. With half-time approaching, that's what Warrington needed. Darryl Clark shows his delight. And Ben Curry is 4th of this campaign. And it's come at a perfect time for Warrington. Half-time approaching.
Well, they needed this, didn't they? Ben Curry, renowned for these sorts of lines, and I thought they were lucky at the start of the set. I thought George Williams knocks the ball on near the touchline. It's George Williams that supplies Ben Curry with the pass, but very fortunate that they've scored this, in my opinion. They needed that. They couldn't allow, and Gary Chambers knows that they couldn't have allowed Catalan to be the next on the scoreboard. They've just got what they needed. I wouldn't say what they deserved, but they needed before half-time.
That's no small achievement, is it? It's been over 2 hours since Catalan Dragons have conceded a try. It's been very hard to break down in this recent patch, but that was a vital try here now for Warrington. There had to be the next to score when there's an 18-point gap in a match. They've narrowed it, and Ratchford hopes to do so even more.
Bang in front of the post after Ben Curry goes in for his 99th career try with that one. Sorry if you picked up any bad language on our effects microphone around the scoring of that try. But Ratchford patched up after that bang on the head with those 15 stitches in there. It hasn't put him off, and he has converted that. And 6-18 looks a lot more promising.
Well, George Williams supplied the pass with Ben Curry. Look, he goes into contact, and he was tackle 1 or tackle 2, and he loses the ball.
Oh.
He loses possession right in front of the touch judge. But you know what? You get some calls that go for you, go against you. He picked up the ball, played it. They got into the field position that they needed and come up with a try. Very fortunate, though.
Away with one there. So 6 points to 18. And half-time, just a minute or so away. And that's taken some of the shine off what has been a very efficient start to this game from the Catalan Dragons.
Warrington created some of their own problems, didn't they? Duffy dropped the ball, Thewlis dropped the ball. There you got 12 points on the scoreboard. So if they reduce that, we've seen that they've got the ability to score.
There's Joe Philbin now. DaCosta and Whitley with the tackles. Thomas McKaylee getting through some work. Might be feeling a little bit weary after all his travelling. Good catch. Curry. Oh, and Connor Wrench couldn't take it.
Well, you get it done. You scored 6 points. You needed points. Then all of a sudden you know that 40 seconds to go before half-time, you're playing, you look to overplay, you make the mistake. Can't concede, though, now. Well, you like the attitude of Warrington. Let's have a crack, let's go for it here.
Well, if you had to guess, you'd say it's probably going to go towards Tom Johnston, isn't it? That far side of the field. Warrington haven't had a lot of success defending with Matouchi's side, Thewlis, Drinkwater. They'll be the ones under pressure, I'd be guessing, as this ball comes out of the scrum.
Are there any more points to be had in the first 40 minutes here at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium? It's Catalan Dragons in possession. Here is Adam Kieran. It's the New Zealand Warriors and the Roosters. DaCosta. It's Tyrone May. May, Pearce. Quickly on, but a bad pass. Just in the last sort of 10-15 minutes of this first half, Catalan have got a little bit sloppy. Tompkins going for 1 point. It's more of a useful kick, that. It's the last kick of the game, and Thewlis will attempt to run it back and come up with something spectacular, but Catalan are not having any of that. They've had the better of the first 40 minutes, the Catalan Dragons, the better of the first 35 minutes, really, the Catalan Dragons. Warrington contributing to their own downfall, and Catalan taking full advantage of it to build up an 18-6 lead at the break.
Yes, an 18-6 lead, Bill. Thank you very much for the table-topping Catalan Dragons. But if you're a glass half-full Warrington fan, you would say after an abject first 40 minutes, we trail by just 12. The Warrington Wolves are playing to stay alive in the playoffs, but they trail to a side inspired by Tompkins and Pearce. Mitchell Pearce's final try for the Catalan Dragons in the half had extended the lead to 18 points to nil. We'll discuss it all with Barry McDermott and Kevin Brown after this. are at the half-time point here. This round 21 fixture at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. The top of the table, Catalan Dragons, with a 12-point lead over the Warrington Wolves, currently sitting in 6th, but under pressure to maintain their playoff place. They have been very poor, it must be said, in that first 40 minutes, but they are not without a chance. Barry McDermott and Kevin Brown joining me here pitchside. Quick summary from you on the first 40 minutes of what you've just seen.
Well, it was a frantic start, and then it was pressure, and then it was almost the pin burst the bubble, like Terry said in commentary, and then after that, it snowballed for Catalan.
Well, let's look through the action, Barry, from that first 40 minutes. As Kevin says, a frenetic, intense, high-energy opening to the game.
You could see at times Warrington trying a little bit too hard. They'd certainly give themselves an opportunity with their energy and their enthusiasm. There's an illegal tackle there. And when they had the very few chances and opportunities in good field position, they just couldn't take them. They didn't have the class, they didn't have the ability to chase them, but they had a little bit of resolve at the early part of the game. Connor Wrench doing incredibly well here. But ultimately, Catalan's first 3 tries of the first 20-25 minutes, you could see the shoulders drop and you could see the Warrington players get deflated, and my word, they needed that try, didn't they, just before?
Yeah, absolutely. You felt Warrington needed to be first to score, to keep energy inside this crowd. Errors, poor passes from the home side gave them no chance. Catalan capitalised through Adam Kieran.
Yeah, and it was just so much different, the composure from Mitchell Pearce when he got into a kicking opportunity. Rather than being frantic, it was nice composed kick, real competitive chase by Sam, and then Adam Kieran scores. And at that point then, Brian, you just felt the crowd.
5 minutes later, Barry, it got better when Tom Davies went over.
Well, Tom Davies is an incredible player. They're a little bit short on the edge there, Warrington. And you can see from the body language and the reaction of the Warrington players, yes, they'd have planned and prepared for that, but they just couldn't do anything about it on the night.
And Adam Kieran penalty gave them a 12-0 lead before we saw Mitchell Pearce at the end of a wonderful passing move.
Oh, wonderful passing, but it was Warrington's defence again, Brian. They're doing different things, and I think when you've lost a couple of games, that trust, you see that Connor Wrench is back, then he goes forward, he doesn't believe his teammates are coming, but then the try by Mitchell Pearce was a great bit of play.
How important do we think this may be in the context of the game, this Ben Curry try?
We were talking on the way down from the gantry where we've been today, how important it would be to get points on the board, just to change the mood and the atmosphere of that changing room at half-time. They needed something positive, otherwise you really feared for them, Brian.
I'll try and put positive spin on this, and as I say, it was an abject Warrington Wolves performance, an appalling performance. Gary Chambers might say this, he might say, gentlemen, we've had 43% of the possession, we've completed at 53%. Granted, we've had 40 more tackles to make, we've had a huge error rate we've got to cut down, but we're only 12 points down. We have, on many occasions, been the architects of our own downfall with mistakes and errors. Fair to say that, quite frankly, it's Steve McNamara's game to lose?
I think so, the way they're playing, if they can continue to be so dominant without the ball, and then when they get the ball so clinical, it would take a big effort and a big turnaround from Warrington to change the result.
Will we get that? You can tell the energy has gone out of the crowd here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, but they will refresh and they'll realise that their side are just 12 points behind the league-leading Catalan Dragons, who have been superb for most of that first 40 minutes. Warrington surely can't be as bad. We will find out the other side of this break here on Sky Sports. Miles off, but just 12 points behind. Interim coach Gary Chambers will look on. Can he resuscitate the Warrington Wolves and rescue their season and their push for the playoffs? Find out. Let's go back to our commentary team of Phil Clark, Terry O'Connor and Bill Arthur.
Brian, thank you very much indeed. Second half just about to get underway. Warrington ending the first half with a burst of optimism. If they were to score first in the second half, then they could really build on that and challenge this Catalan domination.
Well, I'm sure that, like the lads were just talking about George Williams, like for George Williams to perform, he needs others around him playing well. Don't make mistakes. Look, you've got to simplify the game. The forwards have got to run hard. They've got to win the battle in the middle. For any halfback in any team to gain that advantage, kick well, defend well, and the Warrington, well, 12 points behind, that's nothing to them.
Catalan with possession at the start of the second half. 3 tackles gone. Warrington restricting their progress so far.
Release.
Looking for a penalty, Catalan. Nothing coming. And they're just up towards the halfway line. That is the 5th tackle as Whitley extracts himself. Da Costa, it almost looked as though he knocked that one on. The kick is a hurried one. That's good work from Warrington early on. And then that ball's gone forward. And Warrington will get possession. Opportunity to hear from their acting head coach, Gary Chambers, who joined us from the sideline. Gary, what was the message at half-time?
There's lots of energy in there. We've just got to, we've got to complete our kicks a little bit better. They've done that better than us. Their percentages are higher, so we're wasting a little bit of effort. We've got to focus on the things that don't require much skill and just look at effort things, and that's where we're going.
Well, that Ben Curry try has given you a bit of hope, a bit of optimism.
Oh yeah, they're good. You can tell when you're speaking to them at half-time. They were standing up, ready to go. It's not ignorance out. They just want to get out and play, and that's what the talk is.
Gary, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, Terry said that they had to remove or reduce the complexity in the game. You've certainly got to run harder with the ball, and that's what Peter Matauti is trying to do right now.
And the crowd trying to lift them as well. Whitley and Matauti are tangled up. Here is Darryl Clark. Clark gets away from Tyrone May. May comes back at him. And he's stopped eventually. But Warrington looking for a positive start to this second half. Cassiano quickly on, and again it's Curry charging onto the ball, able to offload. The offload finds George Williams. Williams to Cassiano, keeping this one alive. Big Sam likes an offload. Here is Williams once more. Short pass finds Curry. And he's held up just short, and that'll be the turnover. Catalan doing well to defend there.
Well, that's the sort of set of 6 that the Warrington fans are hoping to see the majority of times. Look, chance your arm, have a little crack at the line, see what comes off, but play good rugby. Sam Cassiano with a couple of good touches in that set. You get him involved, and all of a sudden anything can happen.
You're right, Terry. They can build a bridge, can't they, to the supporters and try and recreate the energy that they had at the very start of this match.
Tom Davis playing the ball. Let's go down to the sidelines. John Wells.
Yeah, just a little bit more of an update on the Steph Ratchford injury. I spoke to the club doctor just as the sides emerged after half-time. He developed symptoms during his second spell on the field. After he'd passed his initial HIA, he complained of feeling unwell at half-time, was subjected to a second assessment. Doctor's not happy with the results of that, and so as a consequence, he has been withdrawn from the game.
Sensible option from Warrington. But costly one, given Ratchford's contribution. Thumping boot from Mitchell Pearce, and Dufty comes to claim that one.
Well, he's due a better second 40 than he had in the first 40, isn't he, the Warrington fullback?
Jackie Chan, and it's Chan actually who's struggling to get to his feet after that thumping challenge on Matt Dufty.
Move, Paul! Get square, Paul!
It's a big tackle. It's Darryl Clark. Here is Jordan Crowther.
Back Tyrone.
Joining Warrington from Wakefield for the rest of the season on loan. Thewlis cutting back in field. One of the talented youngsters being nurtured by this Warrington club. Quick play the ball from him. Williams showing it. Managing to keep it alive. Here is Darryl Clark. Clark signalling where he wants people to run, and then Peter Matauti comes back in field and looking for an opportunity. Matauti, and the ball comes off a Catalan foot, and the referee says it was touched by a Catalan player before that, and Warrington will get possession.
A lot more action. The majority of this second half has been played down in Catalan's half, and you can see Seguier, the man that's been judged by the referee to have touched this ball, as you can see from his right hand. Enough Warrington players supporting the ball carrier, get in the frame, get in those action areas where you're supposed to be, and give your mate a bit of a hand.
Thomas McKaylee still out there, despite suffering the effects of jet lag. And heading to Warrington, and a big opportunity, and they've started this second half well. Can they find something to show for their efforts? Crowther plays the ball. Here's Philbin, strong run from Philbin, strong challenge. From Chan again.
Maybe a set restart.
Surely a set restart. Gudimons. No, the referee has said that, I think it was Philbin.
Yeah, Joe Philbin there, he rammed up, carried that ball so hard. He was aggressive with it, he won the collision. For me, you can see here, Gudemon's holding on to him. Look, he's got to let go of him. That should have been a set restart or a penalty. He's then said that as he's got up to play the ball, it's an incorrect play the ball. He's every right to get up quickly and play that ball. Wow. Well, that's gone against them.
Well, when you talk about, I've heard people talk about resilience and resolve. This is a test here now, isn't it? When something goes against you, can they cope with that? Can they handle a setback?
Philbin fired up. Tom Davis, a wry smile on his face. And Warrington are fired up. And the crowd are fired up.
Yeah, that's it. It's a big 5 minutes from now, how they react when something goes against them. Look, good line speed. You knew that that was coming. Then you're Joe Philbin, the man who was harshly done to. He comes up with a challenge. Look at this now. It inspires your teammates.
Ben Garcia taking it into the thick of the Warrington defenders. That's 4 tackles gone, and Warrington doing a good job here. Jackie Chan. That's the 5th tackle. They're still inside their own 30.
And that's the best set of the game defensively for Warrington.
That's a big kick, though, from Mitchell Pearce, and Dufty is underneath it. And Dufty runs it back. Da Costa there to meet him. Garcia as ever. He gets through so much work, Ben Garcia. Not exactly an unsung hero, but it's not flash.
Yeah, he's outstanding,
He does his job. Yeah. Here is Peter Matautia. It's Catalans' turn to throw themselves into the tackle. Matautia plays the ball, and they get the penalty.
Well, they're winning collisions. Gary Chambers, he was asking for urgency, one effort in his second half. Well, he certainly got that. Joe Philbin, Matautia, they're earning the right to play.
Catalan were looking the other way when Darryl Clark tapped that. Good job Whitley was paying attention. Here is Matty Nicholson now, back from injury. Kept him out for a while, the second row. 10 games out he was with that shoulder injury. Here is Cassiano. Cassiano on it comes to Williams. Williams gets away from Ikavalu. And the opening 8 minutes of this second half belonging to Warrington. They still trail, though, by 18 points to 6 as the ball is looped out to Matautia. Tyrone May with the tackle on Matautia. Here is Darryl Clark, and Clark shapes to kick. And then it comes to Thewlis. Thewlis bobs the ball down, and it's picked up by Philbin. Just a bit too much desperation there, and Catalan have it back. And Warrington just too frantic.
I agree with you, desperation, erratic. Thewlis, offload the ball, but he threw it to the feet of his teammate. That's okay offloading the ball, but it's got to be controlled, and again, you're going up to play the ball. Philbin, he's playing the ball. He doesn't need to look, or shouldn't need to look if anyone's behind him. Someone should be there.
We've only had 8 minutes, 9 minutes of the second half. They don't need to panic.
No, but it's desperation. When you've had so many losses, and you've lost 8 out your last 9, you think that every player's a must-win play.
When you put it like that, Terry, they're in relegation form, aren't they? Had they not started the season the way they were, they'd be worried about going down.
Well, they've gone from top of the table to 6th. Lost 6 in a row in League and Cup, Warrington. They are desperate to avert.
That's a charge down, wasn't it, by Sam Castellano? The referee says 6 more tackles.
Desperate to halt this run, but the bounce of the ball has gone with Catalan there, and it's back in the hands of Mitchell Pearce, whose kick was charged down. Here is Davis now. Strong winger, Tom Davis. He's quick, but he's also physically challenging. So's this guy, Jackie Chan. 3-year deal signed with Wigan. Garcia. Drinkwater quickly up on Tyrone May. 4 tackles gone. Da Costa. Here is Mitchell Pearce. Pearce taking him on. That's the 5th tackle. Pearce on the deck. And Tyrone May. They run it this time. It's Tompkins with the kick. And Thewlis is there to sweep up for Warrington.
Well dealt with. The speed of the game, look, it's taking its toll on Cassiano. Even Darryl Clark starting to feel it. And you know it's taking a toll on your teammates when you've got your halfback that's carrying the ball off the ruck. some tired bodies now in a Warrington shirt.
The coach will be saying you've got to rest next weekend, Challenge Cup final weekend.
Well, the coach will be saying get some fresh legs on there, and Sam Castellano runs towards the sideline here. Call for reinforcements, because they've just about hit the wall, haven't they, after a very hard working 10 minutes.
Gil Dudson returns. Thomas McKaylee still out there. Drinkwater, will he look for a 40-20? No, straight down the middle of the field, and Tom Davis comes across, and Sam Tompkins urges him on. So Davis runs into the tackle of Hewlis.
What we were saying in the first half, both of these wingers can score tries, but they return the ball with some interest as well, don't they? That's how you deal with them. Keep your line intact. No one jump the line trying to be a hero and get a shot on. Work together.
They've kept that man, Tom Johnston, quiet, haven't they? Clark.
The referee thinks that Mitchell Pearce was faking it, attempting to win a penalty by pretending to be caught in that area. He said, no play on. Pearce, look, he entangles himself there.
Well,
throws it on, but then it's a penalty against Warrington for what happens next here. Is it a high tackle on Dudson?
High tackle. I was saying before, you ride your luck, but don't give the referee an opportunity to blow the whistle. He blew the whistle for that man's high shot, but he could have gone back to the infringement on the floor from Darryl Clark.
Scrappy spell of play. Gil Dudson sent off in April against the Catalan Dragons, his former club.
And Bill, you've got to control your emotions in games like this. Look, your backs are against the wall. Your fans need the result. Your board of directors want the result.
Here's Romain Navarrete, Catalan, just inside Warrington territory. Of course, the big debate, the big speculation is who's going to take over from Darryl Powell. Gary Chambers in the acting role at the moment, but so many names being mentioned. The lead contender, Justin Holbrook, out of contention now after his change of heart. Here is Mitchell Pearce. Pearce, Tyrone May, Whitley. Whitley is able to offload the ball to Tyrone May. May runs into Nicholson and Thomas McKaylee. 4 tackles gone. Just outside the Warrington 20 are the Catalan Dragons, who've been second best so far in the second half. 5th tackle, Pearce on the ground. It's with Tyrone May again. May stabs a little kick in. Whitley! Matt Whitley gets the try. If Mitchell Pearce doesn't get you, Tyrone May will, because May's kick put it on a plate for Matt Whitley to get his 6th of the season. And Catalan, having withstood that pressure, have gone up the other end and again just taken the steam out of this Warrington side.
Good sides react, don't they? And in the build-up to this is the high shot from Gil Dudson. This leads to the field position. You can see the reaction from Connor Wrench, but he knows he's got to deal with another set of 6. And in the build-up to this, you said that they've been second best in this second half, and they have. But Matt Whitley is a tremendous player. Played centre the last time these two sides met. Very athletic out on the edge, knows his way to a try line, disciplined with his chase, gets on the back of that man's kick, and that's his 7th try assist from the boot, Tyrone May. What a talented player he is.
You know, no team have scored more tries from kicks than the Catalan Dragons. That's 23 now for the season, which is obviously the 2nd tonight. Adam Kieran's try came from a kick in the first half. Last week they scored 3 tries to the left side of the field with grubber kicks. They really are perfecting that art, and it's not one player, it's a combination. Of course that was Tyrone May, but there's several. Michael McAloon put a brilliant kick in last week to set up a try. It's an aspect of play that any team playing against the Dragons needs to learn to cope with.
Kieran having a successful night with the boots after the try from Matt Whitley, who it's widely expected will be a St Helens player next season. And Kieran on target again, and 6 points to 24.
Takes the score
Well, I suppose what they've just shown here in the opening 15 minutes, if you've just joined us after half-time, is that the Dragons can cope at one end of the field, they can defend when their opponents are highly motivated, feeling emotional and pumped up, and they can get to the other end, and with a variety of different methods, they can get over the line and score some points. Good finish from Matt Whitley, who's been a really consistent performer in his time in the south of France.
It's good vision, isn't it, from Tyrone May. Knows that there's in spots that there's no fullback in position and gets a perfect kick away for Matt Whitley. Well, they test you around the ruck, Catalan. The short kicking game, the long kicking game is excellent.
And it's that was really dampened the mood here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. There's so much, and when they came out for the second half, and I think, as we'd said among ourselves at half-time, you know, if Warrington score next, then they really could get on a roll here.
Yeah. And a flying start to the second half is what everyone tipped, but it didn't happen, did it? Because this opposition team can defend as well as attack. And in the number 14 behind the play of the ball here, Alrix da Costa, hasn't played that many games this season. Michael McAlorum is the first choice hooker, but he's done an amazing job here tonight. And probably the reason why Steve McNamara's side look like they're going to do so well this season is the stand-in squad players have made a better impact when they've played.
Dufty coming for that ball, and then there's a big collision.
Well taken. That's how you own the ball at the back, isn't it?
Ikavalu, the man who went down. Here is Jordan Crowther. And Warrington have to start to build again. Connor Wrench. Darryl Clark. Josh Thewlis, another of the talented youngsters. Darryl Clark, another man on the move come the end of this season.
It looks like there's a problem with Gil Dudson in background. The physio's on, just saying to the sideline that there's a problem. He needs to go for the HIA.
Big kick. Tompkins is underneath it. And will Tom Johnston, as Warrington maybe flag, will Tom Johnston as Gil Dudson heads to the sidelines.
And don't forget, they've already lost Stefan Ratchford. That changes the dynamic of the bench, and only with two fresh men at the minute that the rotation is going to be so important.
Catalan Dragons top of the table. Wigan hot on their heels, doing their points difference of power good, 46 points to 6. Abbas Miski, 4 tries to his name tonight, second hat-trick in succession. Huddersfield 18-0 up at the Castleford Tigers, who have got a relegation battle on their hands. Lagor's got a massive game after Challenge Cup weekend against Wakefield 2 weeks tonight. Here is Artur Romano coming off the bench for the Catalan Dragons. Pearce on the last with the kick. Dufty gathers the ball. Gets past the first man, but Romano there to make the tackle.
What great versatility Romano offers to Steve McNamara. I mean, he's played on the right wing in some games this season.
Crowther losing the ball.
He's playing right second row, and this team here now come up with possession.
Yeah, Steve McNamara is saying that because of the injuries, he'd told Artur Romano that he was going to have a change of role, and he's really excited about being given that responsibility.
Players are the breed these days where they just want to get on the field and play anywhere. You can have outside backs that are as big as forwards, you can have forwards that are as quick as backs.
His 50th Catalan Dragons appearance for Romano. Another error from Warrington. And is this one going to prove costly? Catalan taking possession 30 metres away. Here is Tyrone May, thought about it, hangs on to the ball, and there's a trio of Warrington defenders there. Johnston. Here is Whitley. Coming up to the hour mark. And Catalan in control of this game at the moment. Pearce back on the inside to Garcia. Spins away from the first challenge. Almost gets away from the second. Eventually Clark and Crowther managed to stop his progress. Whitley back into the middle of the field. Set restart had been signalled. Here is Busquets and more pressure. Here is Da Costa. Da Costa's short ball. Good tackle from Darrell Clark. It needed to be. It's Romain Navarrete who came quickly onto that ball, and he's struggling to get to his feet. In a lot of strife is the former Wigan man, Romain Navarrete. Da Costa, Pearce. Here is Romano. 3 tackles gone. Catalan looking for more points. Pearce, on it comes to Whitley. Whitley shrugs off one challenge, takes him on again. Nicholson, Crowther managing to stop him. Da Costa keeps it simple. Tyrone May, Pearce. Navarrete seems to have recovered. Ball in one hand. That's the 5th tackle. Warrington on their own try line. Pearce booms the pass on to May. May, on it comes to Kieran. Kieran trying to get the pass away. He does to Whitley. Whitley puts a little kick in. It comes off a Warrington boot. It's 6 to go, says the referee. And Sam Tompkins playing ducks and drakes with Warrington's defenders just to rub it in.
Well, he's a good player, Matt Whitley. There was a bit of luck in that ricochet, though.
So the pressure really is non-stop now on this Warrington defence. Here is Busquets. Crowther in there. Nose to nose with the big French international. Alric Da Costa trying his luck. He's held up just short. So it's Busquets who spins the ball out. Garcia, little step from him, and then the flick, and then a change of direction to Tyrone May. May back to Whitley. Whitley brought down by Clark's tackle. Pearce looking for a second. He's just short, says the referee. 5th tackle. Can Warrington withstand this pressure? Tyrone May. May to Whitley. Whitley to Tompkins, and it's picked up by Dufty. Well, Tompkins appealing that Dufty had knocked that on.
He was absolutely everywhere in that set of 6 then, wasn't he, Matt Whitley? I think he touched the ball more than the hooker. They did the tough stuff here, Warrington. They managed to keep Catalan from getting over the line. Just give him a lifeline. There you go, there's a hit and hope sort of pass.
That could have been costly, could have gone anywhere there.
Well, they've got to try, haven't they? They're still in the contest, there's time. You can give them an opportunity. But he obviously needs to score some points. Running down the middle won't necessarily get through this determined French defence.
Here is Jordan Crowther. Another thumping tackle by Alric Da Costa. Garcia in there as well. There is still time for Warrington if they could string a period of possession together. Walker on the last. The kick is a tall one from Williamson. Tompkins, the ball goes backwards, says the referee.
Yeah, he's lucky, he's fortunate, isn't he, Sam Tompkins? You can see he had to get the afterburners on to get underneath it. Then the ball changes direction. He tries to readjust underneath it and just can't quite pouch it.
It's good work from Tom Davis. Good strength from the wingman. As Catalan build again, referee tells him to get to his feet. Here's Artur Romano. Pearce. Romain Navarrete. That's the 40-metre line in Warrington territory as Navarrete, a grand final winner. Set restart signalled again. Navarrete, a grand final winner in his Wigan days. Here is Busquets.
He says set restart, it was late in the tackle count. They're doing it tough here, Warrington.
Pearce thought about the offload. Da Costa again quickly. Tompkins stopped about 5 metres away from that Warrington line. 3 tackles gone. Darrell Clark with the tackle on him. Here is Tyrone May. Pearce. Artur Romano. Romano flicks the ball out to Davis, and Davis cuts back in field. Can't quite get there. Ikavalu does. Did Ikavalu pick up the pieces and turn it into a try? Not according to referee Liam Moore. But Ben Thaler will take a close look at this one.
we have a live call of no try, so we're going in to see how the ball comes out. Still in possession at this point. And if you leave it there, thank you, I've now made my decision.
Well, Ben Thaler not hanging around with that decision. Icarvalho will not get the try. But it was close.
A good play by Arthur Romano again. You gave him a mention before, Bill. He tossed the ball out as if it was an apple, just throwing it to his friend.
What about that?
Head contact perhaps from Matt Duffy onto Tom Davis. Wasn't looked at by the officials.
Was looked at by Steve McNamara and Alex Chan.
Might be looked at by the man sat behind
Exactly.
Steve McNamara.
I was just thinking that Paul Cullen, whose job it is to scrutinise these games for such events. Talk about poacher turned gamekeeper. Sorry, Cole. So another let-off for Warrington. They've had their chances in the second half, the Catalan Dragons. They haven't taken them, or they have been denied them. Whitley and Matautia tangling, the crowd appealing for the set restart signal in their favour. Nothing doing, says the referee. Warrington with Paul Vaughan driving them over their own 30-metre line. Pearce, the seasoned campaigner, giving instructions to Romano in the tackle. Here is Darryl Clark, who has lost the ball. That's the story of Warrington's game in some respects, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's loose carries from some of the more senior players that, you know, they're making the mistakes. He goes into contact. Yeah, there was a grab in there from Romain Navarrete, but he's just going to try and wrap him up. The ball carrier needs to have a better grip on the ball.
Can the Catalan Dragons put this game to bed? Drinkwater and Whitley arguing for the ball, and then Da Costa has to untangle it from Drinkwater's feet. Here is Romain Navarrete.
Move now! Back up, George!
Catalan Dragons with Mitchell Pearce. Drinkwater quickly up on May, but May gets away from him, and then May puts the kick in. It's a lovely kick, and Icarvalho does get the try this time. Tyrone May with the kick, Matt Icarvalho following up. Liam Moore reckons it's a try. It's another decision for Ben Thaler. Surely it's just the onside offside.
Okay, we have a live call of try on field. Can we pause it on the foot, please? Make sure he's onside. Pause it there, thank you, everyone's on side, so we can run on from here. So it's just a pick up on the grounding now. We're going nice and tight. Picked up there cleanly, it's still in his possession, he's not got it down yet though. He has there, thank you, I've now made my decision.
In a decisive mode, Ben Thaler, which is a good thing for a video ref, really, isn't it?
He does well to decide from that angle that he's onside, doesn't he?
It is a try for Matt Icarvalho. He has earned that in prominent performance from him tonight. And that's put clear daylight now between these two sides. 28 points to 6. The scoreline, and Catalan Dragons on course for another away win.
Yeah, well, Tyrone May just gets rid of Josh Drinkwater. And Tyrone May and Icarvalho, well, they pull this Warrington side apart in this game. We were saying before about the short kicking game from them. You got Mitchell Pearce going hard at the line. Drinkwater just couldn't deal with Tyrone May. Look, he just bounces across the line. No pressure coming from the inside. Gets a nicely weighted kick away. And Icarvalho, he has caused problems from the kickoff.
And the Catalan Dragons, they used to be the side you say they don't travel well. They're great at home, they don't travel well. They have won now 6 of 9 away matches. And this run-in that they've got will hold no fears for them. 5 of the last 7 matches are on the road. They've only got Wigan to play at home and Leeds. They're the only home fixtures they've got. But away from home, they are pretty effective.
We have read, haven't we, that they don't train particularly that much. In fact, they've trained less time on the field than they have in previous seasons. Maybe Steve McNamara has learned how to balance out the workload and the energy levels for the players, emotionally and physically, over the course of a season, with the travel and the disruption that provides for them to other teams. They seem to have the balance right. There's a knock-on somewhere.
A knock-on there. Well, I tell you what, Ian Proctor has come up with a ray of comfort for Warrington supporters, because they will actually go up to 5th place in the table because of the scale of Hull KR's defeat at Wigan. So every cloud, you could yet be right, Phil. And the other significant move tonight is the Castleford Tigers dropping to bottom of the table on points difference. Catalan Dragons are going to be out in front by 6 points. On the back of this.
I said, Bill, before in the first half, how important those fixtures against Leigh and then Wigan in the next few weeks after the Challenge Cup.
4 points in actual fact it will be, because after Wigan have completed their win.
You meant 6 points if Wigan didn't play.
Yeah. If Hull KR staged a dramatic fight back. Here is Sam Cassiano.
Great tackle.
And Cassiano has lost that ball.
Great tackle. Is that Ben Garcia? You know, the game's trying to encourage people to tackle lower. That is a fantastic example to show to anybody. Is it Garcia? I'm right, it is. Just, we'll get to see, I'm sure, a replay of this here, how low he is, where he hits the opponent underneath the ball, around the waistline, I'd guess, with that first look at that. Bends his back, hits him hard, ball comes free. Head to the side.
He's a powerful defender, isn't he?
Safe tackling technique and effective as well.
There's no immediate lift for the Warrington side following the departure of Darryl Powell. They were hoping so that there might be a change in fortune here tonight. There have been moments, but Warrington haven't had many of them and made the most of them when they've come their way.
I think fixture fortune plays a massive role throughout the season, and what's been bad luck for Warrington is that they've played the best team in the competition whilst they're at their best form. Last week, as I said, against Salford, they looked fantastic. Really, you know, Salford, in my opinion, weren't that bad. The Dragons were outstanding with that 4-2-0 victory. And again here, they've come with the determination, emotionally charged here, because they were aware of what might have happened if the Wolves found that bounce. Sometimes happens when a coach or manager is sacked in sport.
But as Terry's pointed out before, this is a Catalan side. I mean, this is a really emphatic performance, and yet they're missing some real key contributors. God, you know, you wonder what they might have done to Warrington tonight if they'd had everybody on board like McMeekin and McAlorum, Desiree.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
It is full time elsewhere. Huddersfield have won comprehensively. Castleford, as mentioned earlier, down to the bottom, and Wigan emphatic victory over Hull KR. So we said Abbas Miski, 4 of those tries. And Warrington gets a belated penalty, ironic cheers from the Warrington faithful. Hoping for a bounce back tonight, but it's gone a bit flat.
I was speaking with Steve McNamara before the game, and he was aware, been around the game a long time, he was aware of the dangers that this game would have presented to his Catalan side. And in the build-up to this game, they would have talked about, look, there's going to be a reaction. We've got to start strong. We've got to take the game to Warrington, and we've got to play for the full 80. Well, so far, they've done a decent job for 72 minutes.
That's a good break from Danny Walker, and Navarrete was high. That's going to be a penalty. A tired, lazy swing there from Romain Navarrete.
Well, he's come under, and he's been in some battles in this game, hasn't he, Navarrete? Took a couple of big shots in the game. You can see Danny Walker just looking at the referee, but playing to the whistle.
Sam Tompkins, you can just see, being helped to his feet. And limping away. Of course, he is patched up, Sam Tompkins, as he gets through the the final season for him. Let's go down to the sidelines. John Wells.
Yeah, just a bit of sideline housekeeping for you. Gil Dudson, you remember, went off HIA, which he has now failed. It also is their last interchange, so they'll have to spend the next 7 minutes with the men they've got.
So Ratchford and Dudson failing HIAs. Here is Sam Cassiano. Warrington looking for some crumbs of comfort here in the final 6 minutes or so. Here's Walker, Clark, Matty Nicholson, Tyrone May with the tackle down low. Here's Matautier, across they go until Williams decides he's going to change direction. Hasn't been able to orchestrate things as he wants, George Williams. Matautier, they're going sideways at the moment until Nicholson deciding to straighten things up. That's the 5th tackle. They are bang in front of the posts, about 15 metres away from that Catalan line. Here is Williams, stabs the kick in, and Tom Johnston in the end makes it safe with somebody taken out there. Yeah, I think they were.
I think is it Tyrone May. You can see he just backs in and just nudges Darryl Clark to the ground. Nice kick from George Williams. And but Tyrone May, you could see, just backs in to the Warrington player. Look, have a little look there. Look, he knew exactly what he was doing. Looked over his left shoulder, seen the onrushing Clark, and took him out illegally.
Is that the first telling kick from George Williams in this game? Let's turn Catalan around, because that certainly did. Here is Nicholson playing the ball bang in front of those posts. Here's Darryl Clark. Catalan conceded just the 1 try, and that was from Ben Curry late in the first half. Here is Cassiano. Here is Williams. Williams manages to offload to Cassiano again. Navarrete leaps at him, but he gets the pass away. It goes straight into Catalan hands, and Gary Chambers wonders what might have been once again.
Yeah, be disappointed. Gary Chambers, the respect for the possession and the ball just hasn't been quite good enough. Yeah, they needed to offload that ball. You can trace it back to early on in the games when the mistakes were plenty. And I agree with Phil Clark before, when Phil Clark said about that if Warrington win tonight, there's a mistake. If Warrington win tonight, it pushes them on, and maybe the fortunes change if they get to the grand final. I still think if they can get a run of games together, Gary Chambers knows what he's got in his playing roster. This is still a good side here. They just need to be confident. At the minute, they're playing with no confidence at all.
The error from Bastien Schimon. There is Warrington's run coming up. Leeds away, Hull FC away. So 2 tough games. Gary Chambers, a maths teacher by profession. This is qualification. Worked in education in Salford, but kept his hand in rugby league. Very highly respected in the development side of the game.
I was just about to say that, and in the game in general. Let me tell you, played against him for a number of years, and he used to be shocking at sledging people. Never sledged him once because I respected him that much.
Whitehaven born, and in charge now following the departure of Darryl Powell, and an opportunity maybe for Warrington to close out this game with some optimism. The ball over the top, and Thewlis will get the try. And Warrington maybe have the last word in this contest. Josh Thewlis with the try, his 8th of the season.
Well, it's the least they could do here now, is it, to try and offer the supporters some hope for the rest of the year. To score the last try, dives in at the corner. How ironic that it was Dufty and Thewlis who came up with those early mistakes that we think probably led to the dominance and the points that Catalan scored in that first stanza. Quite frankly, it smiles at the end, but it's not been good enough for the Warrington team.
Well, with Stefan Ratchford off the field with that head injury, it is Thewlis who will take on the goal-kicking duties. He has kicked 1 goal this season, and that was against the Catalan Dragons in the 2014 win, when he also got 2 tries. from the sideline. Difficult and off targets. Warrington 10, Catalan 30.
Well, they just needed to finish with a positive. A good ball from Duffy. And like you said, scored a couple of tries last time they met in the South France. He was outstanding in that game, Josh Thulis. And just the sort of finish that they need to the game. Obviously, the defeat, it'll be hard for them to take in this. Everyone expected them to get closer on the score, but if not win the game. Unfortunately, that's not happened.
No, it's been another solid performance from the Catalan Dragons. Had a grip on this game for the most part.
Yeah, and it's 3 games in a row that they've looked good. You know, not many teams can do that. It's amazing how they've started now. Get to the peak of the season. I was often critical, said that when the summer comes and the players start going to the beach after training, sometimes their attitude drops as the Wolves go wide to Thulis.
Thulis trying to keep the ball alive. Instead, it ends up in Catalan Dragons' hands. Oh, then it's dropped just short of the line. It was Mikel Gudemond who looked odds-on to get the try. But that is great spirit from Warrington right at the end.
Bill, exactly. Do you know what? The game's gone. Sam Cassiano could have given up on that play against his former teammate Mikel Gudemond. He didn't. Obviously, passions are high from a side that's not been doing well. Duffy into Tyrone Mate. Was that a little slap in the face from Tyrone Mate? But Sam Cassiano gets back to prevent the try being scored. But Josh Thulis knows he's going off the sideline, gets the ball back inside. Gudemond picks it up. He's got support on the inside and out. Tries to skin Cassiano, who comes up with a decent tackle. Look, less than a minute to go, but that's something that you build on.
I think it's cost Big Sam, though. Struggling to finish this game by the look of things. Well, that was real defiance from Sam Cassiano. Something ended up kicking things off here. It was Duffy intervening.
Yeah, it was the Duffy with the little push, wasn't it? He came in. Was it Shimon that he pushed? Obviously, Tyrone Mate didn't like what he seen. Duffy, a passionate player. Obviously, things have gone against him in this game. Look, players care. Players care about results. I know they get paid for doing a job, but the result means so much to them.
Here goes Williams. High tackle, was it from Pearce? And there's a little bit of spite in this game at the end, which is unnecessary, because that's the final play of the game in actual fact. Or is it? Has the penalty been awarded?
Yeah, the penalty's been awarded.
It was Pearce with the tackle, a high one. And he's hobbling. They'll be glad of the rest, will the Catalan Dragons.
They're looking to recharge the battery over on that right edge. They've had a decent game, haven't they? Cavallo, I think it is, the man who's just limping to the sideline.
They've reminded everybody before Super League takes a break for the Challenge Cup final that this is a team that they all now need to take full notice of. Maximum respect for Steve McNamara's side after the way they've played in these 3 contests, and Warrington, well, it led as it started with the possession inside their own half, not going anywhere.
Yeah, and a groan from the Warrington supporters as another pass went astray, and that sort of sums it up from the Warrington perspective. Handshakes all round on the Catalan bench. Another job done, well done for the Catalan Dragons. No joy for Josh Drinkwater and the former Catalan Dragons players in this Warrington side. No dream start for Gary Chambers and Richard Marshall in their roles as caretaker coaches. There wasn't the immediate bounce that Warrington would have hoped for, their supporters were hoping for. In fact, it fell pretty flat, courtesy of a really efficient, effective performance from this table-topping Catalan Dragons side, who've won by 30 points to 10.